Good morning, good morning. I am working. It's 11:10. I've been working since 9. Today is a longer day for me. I'm working until 6:30 instead of 5 because I'm only working until 4:30 tomorrow so I can go to the bakery Christmas party, but I have to tell you what just happened. Okay, two things really quick. Number one, I was going to watch Newsies this morning again, but turns out we ended up finding out that my mom's profile on Disney Plus was gone and it was replaced by my old housemate's dad. Because I guess I logged into the TV at one point while I was there, and for some reason now they thought it was okay to create a profile for themselves on an account that wasn't theirs. So yes, I should have logged out. I didn't think of that. So I'm not mad at the fact if they've been using it to watch stuff, because it's my fault. I forgot to log out. But creating your own profile, I'm sorry. Who do you think you are? Like, that's not, you can clearly see the other names are not people that you immediately know. Like my name, yes, but I don't live there anymore. So like, why would you think that was okay? Anyway, so that started a whole thing. So we changed the password on it and all of that. And that took a while because Gmail was down this morning. It's a whole big thing. So instead I'm listening to DFB videos, and I'm listening to their most recent, latest news that just came out 30 minutes ago. And they're talking about the new rules on Space Mountain, which I wrote a post for that. And I realized, I'm honored. They basically, what I wrote in the post of saying we don't know what caused this change, but it'll greatly decrease the items lost on the ride. Like, a lot of people think they can hold on to their stuff during a fast ride, but that ends up not being the case. And it's nearly impossible to find these items on a dark ride. And they're saying, they're using that bit in the video. And I'm like, I wrote that. The scriptwriter just took that part and put it in the video, which, as I said, that's totally, I was writing about it, so you might as well use it. I'm so excited. It's 5:10. Now I have an hour and 20 minutes left of work since I'm working until 6:30. But I just had an interesting revelation that I thought I would share with you. So when I went to Disney for my 20th birthday in 2021, I did not know about the Disability Access Service, the DAS service. I so wish I had, because it helps a lot. But I didn't realize how much until I think back to that trip in comparison to the other trips that I took once I did know about DAS and I had my annual pass. And I realized I can't remember as many details, especially when it comes to being in the ride queues and things like that, where I was around all those people, and even though it was social distance and stuff, some people wouldn't listen, and so being closer to them and that. I have a harder time remembering specifics of that trip than I do of the other trips that I took after it. I remember very clearly arriving at the hotel and seeing that the trip planner, I can't remember the actual name right now, but you know what I mean, who's I went to high school with her son, she had gotten one of those gift baskets for me, and I was in tears because I was so grateful and so happy. I remember that super well. I remember accidentally locking myself out of my hotel room when I was supposed to be going to Animal Kingdom. I remember being in line for Flight of Passage and getting there really early, so the line wasn't super long. And so I got to, because I knew that was going to be the ride that was the longest. And then I remember, I think it was that trip, getting to the front and being the first person in line for Millennium Falcon. I think that was that trip, but other than that, I have a harder time remembering specifics. And I wonder if it's because, once again, being in that's where those accommodations really help, because I wasn't waiting in a longer line around that many people where I didn't really realize it at the time, but my brain was wow, this is a lot of people, you're around a lot of people, this is loud, people are loud, this is a lot. And with the DIS service, I do most of the waiting outside of the ride. So yes, I do still have times where I'm, walking in and still have to wait for the rest of it. but not nearly as much. So anyway, just an interesting sort of connection that I made that I thought was intriguing.
Well, I almost wasn't going to do yoga, but I did. And I'm glad I did, except it was one that was like for your core and your hips, I guess. I don't know. I randomly select them. And I've learned that if it's one that's over 5 minutes, I have to use my inhaler because I don't have the balance yet and things like that. So I don't have the strength with it just yet. It's what we're building up to, you know? So it'll probably won't have to use it as much as I continue to do it because my body will, you know, get used to it a little bit. I mean, my muscles will, but I always remember when I went to the doctor in Texas and was describing this. And she was like, well, sounds like it was just like a bronchial spasm because if you have exercise-induced asthma, it'll create phlegm like in your mouth. And I was like, no, that was there. You just didn't let me get to the point where I was telling you that. And then she was like, oh yeah, it probably could be asthma then. And I'm like, if you would just let me finish. So the thing is too, is that they say to use the inhaler like 15 minutes before. So I never do that because I always forget and I don't think I'll need to use it. And then I'm like, oh crap, I probably should. Because it's not to the point of where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. But it's that my lungs I can feel like I don't know, it's hard to describe. Because it's the tightness, but it's not a tightness that feels like it affects my breathing. It's just a tightness that's like, wow, my lungs are strained, but there's really not enough that should have been done that would cause that. And then it's like the phlegm builds up and, you know, I can I know that that's what my body's doing. So I'm like, yep, okay, like that's what it is. I just got to get better about using the inhaler when I need to instead of like being in the middle of something and being like, oh yeah, I should use that.
Right. I'm going to bed. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. On my social media is in the description. Love you all.